All right, guys, I think we are live. Wet and Windy is the title, as you saw it in the thumbnail. That pretty much sums up my couple of laps at lunchtime skiing today in Revi. I hope you guys are all doing well, by the way. Hope you're all excited for Christmas. And yeah, if you're planning to come to Revelstoke for this next week, I just wanted to jump on and bring you guys what the latest conditions are. If you've been following, sort of general trends and how things have gone, like you'll know it's been a really slow start here in Revelstoke and also a slow start across British Columbia. November saw a big lack of snowfall in the latter half of November. We looked like we were starting to get off to finally a bit of a strong start after the delayed opening. But this last week has been very, very mild at the lower elevations. It's been torrential rain in town all of today, and it's been on and off for sort of most of the week. Let me run down a couple of stats for you, just so that you know where we actually stand on the mountain itself. So the base at the moment, up at the top, the alpine base is sitting at 123 centimeters, so a little over 1.2 centimeters. We have had some snow in the last 24 hours up at the top. I'd say throughout the day we've probably had around about 10 centimeters or so, but it has been a very, very wet snow. The thing that really has struck out for me while skiing today at lunch was how high the freezing level was. It was raining all the way up to just below the top of the Revelation gondola, before it was then turning to snow, of which it was quite wet, and like, yeah, real strong wind today. We had a sort of a southwesterly ridge wind of about 30 to 35 kilometers an hour. So the positive with that is that any snow that was falling was getting pushed into the bowls. So right now, I got 2 laps in on separate reality, which were pretty good around middle of the day. The feedback I heard from other friends who were skiing earlier in the morning was that North Bowl and Greeley Bowl were in pretty good condition. So the snow that has been falling has been going in there. Before we get on to more good news, I will just sort of, for anyone who is coming this coming week to Revelstoke, like definitely, keep your expectations in check, because everything below the gondola right now is either marginal or it's unskiable. Downloading from the mid station is mandatory. They tried to get the very bottom open last weekend when it was locals day. They couldn't actually do that in the end. And then with all the rain that we've had since at that lower elevations, there's no chance really of skiing any of the sort of the runs except for last spike below the gondola. Just want to put it out there that's where we're at right now. And yeah, like today I just got on the gondola right from the very top by the Mackenzie outpost and came straight down just because it wasn't worth it. Like I did 3 laps and I was drenched. So yeah, definitely bring some ski gear that you don't mind getting. Well, I mean, let's get into what the good news is for the forecast, right? Because we've had this week of warmer weather, but as of tonight, the freezing level is dropping down significantly. So it's been sitting around 15, 16, 1700 meters for the last couple of days. Tonight, the freezing level is dropping all the way down to 500 meters. So that's the village base. And it's forecasting that the alpine temperature is going to drop to minus 11. So, that is good because, I mean, at the moment, we're not seeing too much precipitation over the next few days, but at least that's going to stop any thawing. Chances are it's going to turn a lot of things icy lower down. But you hope that, with that colder weather, we do get some more precipitation. The forecast coming into the weekend right now, they're actually saying it's looking cloudy with sun. So what that probably means is that we're going to have the classic Revelstoke inversion again and have some sunny weather higher up through the inversion. So potentially some bluebird weather again, which could make for some really awesome skiing in the powder bowls this weekend. What I'm hoping is that we do eventually get some good snow coming. The forecast has been changing on an hourly basis over the last couple of days, much to everyone's frustration. So at some point, it's been telling us that Monday and Tuesday was going to bring a further 10 to 15 centimeters. But you look at it now and it's sort of saying only maybe a couple of centimeters. So it's been really hard to predict. But one thing is pretty consistent throughout the weekend and going into next week is that the freezing level is dropping down to the valley there, which is good, and it's going to be hovering around that sort of normal -8 to -5. I can see there's a couple of people watching, guys. Thanks very much for joining this evening. Be sure to introduce yourself, say hi in the comments below. I always like to read them out, and yeah, happy to answer any questions you guys have. So yeah, I got in 3 laps today. So it was 2 down separate reality bowl, and 1 there in just below the Gondi. Brett has joined. Hey, Merry Christmas. Thanks for the update. No, it's a pleasure, mate. I know people have been sort of commenting in the videos and the posts throughout this week. I wanted to try and get a little bit more footage up there of this week, but last weekend I was over in Silver Star and then I've been ill, so was able to finally get up today. Stephen's also joined. Thanks for the update, appreciate it. No, thanks for commenting there, buddy, appreciate it. So I'm going to try and go out again tomorrow around lunchtime, get a couple of laps in. Tomorrow's my last day at work, and then I'm off for 3 days, so that'll be prime sort of skiing and filming weather, and then I can show you guys what's really like up there. But yeah, we could definitely do with more snow, but I think realistically so does everywhere in BC right now. And I hear especially on the west coast it's really bad right now. Like I'm hearing bad things about Whistler's situation. Freedom Rider is there. Thanks, buddy. What is the ski out like from the bowls on Big Woody? I have not had the chance to really explore that. Full disclosure, with my nature of work and how topsy-turvy the start of the season has been, that's actually affected my work, and so I've actually not been able to get out as much as maybe I normally would have. My intention is over my days off over the weekend is to go and real suss out some of the areas more, especially in the bowls, because everything so far has pointed to actually North Bowl, Greeley Bowl, separate reality bowl, those being the best areas across the entire mountain right now, because that south ridge wind is just pushing any new snow directly into there. My gut would tell me that at the bottom of the run out of Greeley is probably going to be pretty gnarly. There's just like you look on what there is on the south side of the mountain, and yeah, you've still got your trees and lots of rocks and stuff. So I don't know if there's going to have been enough in there, but Lemming Line's been opened, so you can do that traverse over. So it's obviously safe enough to go in. Whether you can do the run outs, I don't know. But stay tuned, and I'll add that to over the weekend. I do want to do one at least big vlog of Christmas skiing, and I'll try and hopefully that'll show you guys what the conditions are like. I've got some other things to film as well, some other products. But yeah, good question, Freedom Rider. Thanks for tuning in again. Are any of you guys planning to come out to Revi soon? Has anybody got any trips planned out here? Like, I don't even think some of the other resorts, like in and around, are open. Like, I know that Whitewater and Red had delayed their opening. I doubt they've had any new snow since. So, I mean, I would assume they're still postponed at the moment. And then I heard a guy today who says he's going mountain biking in Kamloops later. So, you know, that shows you what situation Sun Peaks is in right now after being like one of the first to open in the area. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a weird start, and just, you know, all my friends back in Europe seem to have been getting off to a really nice start. So yeah, a little bit jealous right now. I don't know. You know, it's early days still, right? It's early days, but yeah, it's not been a good start to the year. Brett's got a trip planned to Kicking Horse, but nothing big for Revy yet. Might make it out for a day trip one day. Have you seen much on what the conditions are like in Kicking Horse, Brett? I've not seen over that way. I would say, ironically, that actually it seems like Alberta. I mean, I know Kicking Horse is in BC, but that side of the mountain range seems to have actually had a better start. Or at least they were, especially into late November and early. Have I been to Kicking Horse yet? Yes, I've been there once or twice. When I was very young, and then I had the opportunity to actually fly over there and do a day last winter? It was like the last winter or the winter before that. There's a day vlog on it somewhere, and yeah, I love the resort. It's very unique. The day I went there, last year, I think it was -20. It was like blue sky, but it was real cold. But yeah, real nice resort, and I think with the reciprocals within the staff, I actually get some days there this year. So I got to see what all my trips, like how this weather unfolds and affects my trips, because initially I was thinking, well, make it out to Whitewater in January and do a 3-4 day trip there and really kind of, you know, explore that side, because I've heard so many things. But if the way this winter is unfolding, I might have to revisit those plans. And I mean, Kicking Horse is the nearest resort to me besides Silver Star, so yeah, that might be an option to go again. The one thing I love about Kicking Horse is the little yurt bars on the hill. Reminds me a little bit of Europe. That Freedom Rider is moving to Fernie in 2 weeks. A buddy who was there told me there is still some good snow to be had, but warm this past week. Yeah, I mean, yeah, up top it's good, like just warm everywhere below. Fernie is one again that I hear lots of good things about, like good reputation. It's just too far from Revelstoke for me to make it a trip right now, just with what time I can have off and my work schedules. You know, if I was in a situation where I could do this more consistently, the video making side of things, and, you know, make it sustainable, then yeah, I'd love to explore so many other places like Fernie. Brett, I think they're behind you guys on snow, but it hasn't been as warm. Not 100% sure though. I mean, I know that Kicking Horse always start their season a little bit later anyway. I think they were going to open up on the 8th. But yeah, it's just not been good seeing this rain today, mate. I tell you. Let's quickly check Kicking Horse. Let's see what their situation's like. Normally you can get a pretty good idea of Kicking Horse by looking at their webcams, because it's all like, you know, on that one side of the mountain face. It looks pretty wintry at the top there. You can't see the bottom looks actually the bottom of Kicking Horse looks a lot better than what we're at, but you can still see, like, you know, puddles, and yeah, it's a lot of sort of sticking high right now for any good snow, but it looks like it's dumping right now actually up at Kicking Horse. So yeah, another 10-15 centimeters there, which is what they're saying we've got here, but it's the snowfall here in Revy will have been not spread evenly. They are here in Revy right now that if you go up to the top, they are having a lot of those what do you want to call them? It's like the netting that they're using to try and hold some of the snow in place. on those sort of main south-facing ones to keep the snow there, because otherwise it would just be a sheet of ice. And they're holding pretty well on the top section there. It's actually kind of really fun to ride just alongside them, where the snow tends to drift and pile up. So yeah, you can feel it's though, like when I was up there, you could feel it was heavy, like underneath that little bit of snow that was falling. You know, it's just like hot, like that sort of the lip just before the bottom of the Stoke chair was almost kind of like slushy, spring and slushy, which was, yeah, a little surprising. A little surprising. Good questions though, guys. Keep them coming. I'm curious to know, actually, what websites do you guys use for snow forecasts? I was kind of hoping Itz might join. He's a guy who sort of focuses on, he's quite good with his forecasting. And every time he's come on, he's given us good news, but he's been quiet for the last few days. So I don't know where he is. Yeah, just, I mean, and a lot of people out here always say to use snowforecast.com, but as a Brit that went to Europe for years, I could never trust it. It was just very unreliable, but people swear by it out here. From all the stuff I've given you tonight, I go off the resort website, but I think there's a couple of glitches going on with the snow accumulations, and but just also, you know, they use WRDI, and yeah, it just keeps changing all the time. Forecasting tonight, as that freezing level is dropping, they are saying there's going to be a little bit of snow, cloudy with clear periods and isolated flurries. Like, I'm hoping all of this just changes and we just get absolutely dumped on. Like, I mean, just our luck, right? If it's been torrential rain all day, and then as soon as the freezing level drops, that precipitation stops. I gotta run. Thanks again for the update. Hopefully El Nino buggers off pretty soon. I agree, Brett. Thanks, mate. Thanks for joining. Yeah, have a good evening, and best of luck with that trip to Kicking Horse, whenever that is. One of the things, guys, I wanted to kind of show you as well with these live streams. So I'm trying to make them more interactive, and I'm trying to do more things to sort of give back to you as well. I don't know what it looks like on a desktop, but if you're viewing this on a mobile, then there are sort of features that you can do to support the channel. We've got super stickers, super chats, membership, and you can actually get memberships for other people. I'm trying to figure out, because they've recently just showed that I can gift memberships to people for free. So I want to give back to you guys as a thank you for supporting me so far this winter. I might not be able to have figured it out for this live stream, but on a future one, maybe over the next couple of days, I definitely want to try and figure out to give back to you guys who have been joining, because I can see there's regulars. Kevin's joining. Hey, Kevin, thanks very much. Chris Toma, meteorologist. Okay, so that's who you use. Does he have a website, Kevin? Just Google him. Okay, let's have a look. Is this Chris Tomer lives in Denver? Oh, wait, there's chrishomer.com forecasting services. Well, I can see he posts stuff on YouTube, so I imagine he's probably doing some stuff about, yeah, that looks like Northwest there. That looks like something that's probably actually worth a watch. So thanks for that, Kevin. I'll check him out. He specializes in ski areas. Nice. Okay. Do you know how the hotel reservations for Christmas are shaping up? Honestly, like from everything that I saw in the car park today, at the resort, there was a lot of people. So even though like the snow is not tip top, there's still people coming here. And again, like, you know, it's Christmas, right? People pay a lot of money. So I mean, there gets to a certain point where I think, like, you know, whether you can or can't get money back becomes like, you know, you can't, like, if you're canceling when the resort has actually opened, it's different from making a cancellation to when the resort has postponed its opening, if you get me. So it looked pretty busy in the car park. The town has been pretty busy. I'm going out in town tonight as well. I suspect there'll be quite a lot of people. I also think that from everything I've heard, like, Revelstoke probably has some of the most snow right now in BC compared to anywhere else across BC. So if you're living in Vancouver right now, or you're in Seattle, you know, or you're maybe over in Alberta, Edmonton, or where any of that places, and you can get connecting or direct flights into Vancouver, Calgary, and then on to Kelowna, like, yeah, I think people are coming here right now. So yeah, or people are just choosing not to come at all. I don't know how things are in town, but yeah, I mean, I've not. It doesn't feel quiet in town, Freedom Rider. Let's just put it that way. Kevin's coming in mid-Feb. Down. That's the holiday weekend, I think it is. Hoping by then we've turned this season around. That, funnily enough, Kevin, that week is the exact week last year where our season went from dry and very little snow to like second half being powder crazy. So, I mean, for your sake, I hope that happens, but I also hope for my sake and everyone else's here, for the locals, that it happens a lot earlier. NRHY7 says, yo, hey, thanks for joining, buddy. Moved here for the season and it's been good, I think. Been loving it. Oh, awesome, buddy. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying your time. Yeah, what have you made of Revi so far? I haven't dropped in over at Greeley Bowl. Yeah, I've not been over there yet myself, but that's on my list to do this weekend. I mean, you know, they didn't open it on the opening weekend just because, you know, again, like, they're still making sure it was safe, but I think it's since now opened. Seen quite a few people traversing over that way into using Lemon Line and going higher. And yeah, I thought about it today, but yeah, I mean, it was still it was windy up top, and with the snow, I was like, I don't want to get have to go down that way and then get the Ripper chair up to then come back over to the Stoke. So I just wanted to get 2 or 3 quality laps in today. This is just what I needed. I don't think it's worth the trip right now. Hey, James, thanks for commenting, mate. I mean, look, I'm not going to, it's not up to me to kind of tell someone whether to make the trip or to not make the trip. I'm just going to give you the latest info. I mean, it's better than any other resorts right now here. It's better than Silver Star, than Sun Peaks. I don't know what the situation's like at Big White, but yeah, if your thought was to come here and be able to do the full skiing, top to bottom, it's just not possible right now, unfortunately. So yeah, if you've got that flexibility to come later in the season, yeah, something to consider. And Nick, your name is Nick. Awesome, Nick. Glad you've. Thanks for joining, buddy. Might bump into you around town somewhere. It's been brilliant. Still finding fresh snow in the areas. Loving the Ripper and spending most of my time over there. Yeah, I mean, everything on that side right now is probably the better part of the mountain, as well as just the glades on the south side, just because of the way the snow blows in there. Yeah, I think honestly the bowls have been the best. North Bowl and Separate Reality, and yeah, looking forward to Greeley. Greeley's some of my favorite. There's some really good stuff on the ridges there. How is the construction of the new hotel at the base coming along? I haven't seen any updates or pictures online. From what I've seen there, like, I don't know a lot about construction, but there's a lot of, it's still very much like the foundations are there. There's, it's not like they've sort of started putting in the floors. So yeah, I don't really know what's been going on there. I know that Northland do have a page, a Facebook page for like their Revelstoke construction updates. But yeah, I've not noticed anything like significant in terms of the developments. Lots of stuff going on that's been happening around town though. Nick says it's great how it isn't that busy either. Queue times are non-existent really. Yeah, do you know, a lot of people mention this, right? And I don't want to jinx it because Revelstoke is growing. It's becoming a lot more popular. And probably around February when Kevin comes, it is going to be a lot busier. But generally, because of the terrain, the way the mountain is spread out, I think it's quite unique that you can be in a place where you can have a couple of thousand people visiting a day. And yet with only 2 or 3 main chairlifts, you don't have long lift queues. It's real unique. And the one thing, I was chatting with a French guy on the lift today about this, and we were saying that, compared to Europe, the general attitude out here is a lot more laid back and go with the flow. Do you know what I mean? Like in Europe, especially in the big resorts, if there's a lift queue, people are impatient. There's complaining or everything, and like a lift queue here in Revi is like a serious lift queue is like 20 minutes. And I've barely ever been in a situation like that. It is good. It's nice that you can just keep doing laps and you're meeting people on the chairs, right? And you can have conversations with total strangers. Yeah, it's one of the things that I like about here, Nick, is that community feel. So I'm glad to hear you're having a good time. Yeah, have you explored much of Revelstoke's nightlife? Kevin dropping off Bramski. Thanks for the videos. Maybe see you in Feb. Thanks, Kevin. I'll keep an eye out for you. Let me know when you're coming into town. We might see each other on the mountain somewhere. Hopefully not in a lift queue. Okay, Freedom Rider. I started going to Revi in 2008. Went every year for Christmas and stayed at the Sutton Place. Even in the holidays, the lines were never bad. Yeah, it's unique, right? And I don't think I'm ever going to take that for granted. Yeah. I would have been really, really interested to have seen Revelstoke in the early days of the resort, right? Because yeah, I mean, before coming to Revi, I was in Japan, and Niseko was sort of was in a similar transitional phase that Revelstoke is in now, where it's like going from this sort of it's this resort that has these amazing snow conditions, and then over a few years with social media and videos and the internet and all that, its global recognition has spread massively, and it's bringing a lot of people to the area, and with that creates new demand on facilities and infrastructure and real estate and etc. And yeah, as I was there, you still kind of had like, yeah, you had sort of this period of now where a bit more housing was going, and they were building more lifts over in Niseko. And I feel like obviously Revi's in that situation right now, but it's been doing it coming out of COVID and all the financial pressures that are going on in the world right now. But yeah, early days skiing on that mountain, I'm sure, were fun. It's fun now. I love it. I love it to bits. And yeah, I've never felt as attached to a resort as I have anywhere else. Like, this is very unique. So Nick, from only really skiing in Europe, I'm astonished by the terrain here. It's much more advanced than the majority of the Alps resorts. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, very different, right? We're like in Europe, we just have, it's pretty much groomers, like pisted runs everywhere. And actually, in a way, I more and more I realize how lucky we are although it's different, I realize how lucky we are for some of the quality of the skiing in Europe, with the vast networks of groomed runs, the high, like the multiple lift networks are insane. You go to some of the big areas in France or Switzerland, Austria, it's all high-speed lifts now. It's 6, 7, 8 seaters. It's heated seats. It's covers. It's all of these things. And so when you come here on that side of things, like lift infrastructure is definitely not as modern, but it gets you where you need to go, right? And it's more about the skiing aspect here. Whereas, like, I feel like in Europe, some of these places are so massively developed that the alpine experience encompasses a lot more, right? You go to Europe and there's restaurants on every corner of the mountain, and there's a lot more après and stuff. So you again, like, it does create, it's how would you say, like, there's a lot more variety of people that you can find there, right? Maybe those that just want to be there for the après. Whereas, like, here, especially in Revi, I feel like there's a lot more focus on the skiing aspect of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, ski hard all day and then go down into the town and drink there. I think long term there's the sort of plans to maybe do more up at the resort, but for the time being, I actually like that separation, and you kind of like leave the skiing hard bit there, but then you can still come down in the town. There's a lot more of that local community vibe. Freedom Rider, it was pretty quiet. Back in the day, you got to get a bar stool at the Villa Didier après ski without much problem. When I go now, you can see how the town is gentrifying, which has both positive and negative aspects. Yeah, I know there's a lot of debate around it. But good shout on the Villa Didier. That's my planned venue tonight, a little bit later on. But yeah, everywhere in town, it doesn't matter what night now, if you want to go and have food, like, it's sort of pop your head round the door and put your name on a waiting list for 40 minutes, and then go find another place where you can go in and grab a beer until it's your time to go to that place. So they definitely need some more bars and venues. They are now developing Mackenzie Village, which is sort of past Southside on the way to the resort, and there's some private outlets that are going in there. So there's going to be places where you can actually dine out up there long term, which would be great for a little bit more options. But yeah, they definitely need more in town. Back to Europe, rolling hills on groomers, basically not that steep, but when it is steep, off-piste in the EU, they rope off the run so you can't access it. Here you are guided to these places. Mate, 100%, Nick. 100%. Yeah, that's very true. Like, there's not much of this sort of, I don't know what we want to call it, whether it's like an off-piste culture, but, you know, just the kind of that slack country, back country vibe. I mean, there are some places you can go to in Europe, you know, your Chamonix and your, you know, your places like, where's that place in Austria? That's going to annoy me. You know, there's a couple of places where it's like prone for the more advanced skier. Whereas, like, I think a lot of the resorts in France, especially, were purpose built just for, you know, holiday skiers, you know, for the mass market. That's why I went off France in the end. And for a number of years as a family, we went to Austria just because of the, you know, it was a lot better all round experience. Yeah, totally agree. The town is great. I was out watching ski tour at Traverse, which was good. I try not to go into Traverse as much as possible. I've only managed it twice, which is good. Ended up in the River City pub the other night after staff Christmas dinner. I don't remember much. I do remember being in 7-Eleven getting snacks, which I think a lot of people end up in. But yeah, the one thing I love about Revelstoke is how, like, you can get to know people a lot. Like, you know, everybody tends to know someone. So Freedom Rider is right in a certain way, but I think, you know, if you stay around here long enough, you can build up your friend network, and you do, you know, you feel like you're actually a part of a place, right? And for Brits, having worked in Europe before, like, never felt that really anywhere. You always felt like you were temporary, like you were only there for a short amount of time, and then you had to go off. I love the town, but I find that Fernie has more options in town for dining and drinking, as well as the mountain views are way more dramatic, like Kicking Horse, Lake Louise, and Sunshine. That's a good point. And yeah, I've heard similar things about Fernie. And again, it's sort of like piquing my curiosity to eventually try and explore that place. I don't know. I think Revelstoke, as a general town, is still grappling with this. I don't know. It's still adapting, right, for how the town is changing, and, you know, primarily now it's servicing tourism, whereas in the past, some of more of the other industries were probably the primary one, like your rail network or your logging, and those are still there. But yeah, it's just, you know, you have so many people coming through for various seasonal tourism, and being able to sort of meet the demands to supply those customers is challenging. Yeah, everybody goes to 7-Eleven. Yes, they do. Got to get the chicken pieces and wedges. I don't know how many I ordered the other night. I just woke up and saw that there was some left, so obviously it was a lot. I went there after Traverse. Yeah, I went there after the region, and I don't know why. Having wolfed down a Christmas dinner, I don't know. You just get hungry for more. Hungry for more at some godly hour. But Revy has better skiing than Funny. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree with you there, mate. Okay. I'm trying to figure out, guys, how I can gift you memberships, because this is a new feature, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it, so bear with me here. Keep the comments and questions coming while I look into this for you. Revenue share. Oh. Promotional gift memberships are available on the 1st of each month. Does that mean I can't give it to you guys now? What, and I have to wait to January? Let's have a look. I hope not. Have there been any updates or rumors on the lifts like South Bowl? Well, South Bowl is the one that they are planning next, and it has been sort of made it public knowledge. They did some public info sessions back in the fall. I mean, for the time being, it's just called Lift 15, I think. But it's I do believe you can actually find it on the website somewhere if you go into I think there's a page on development. And yeah, but there's nothing on timescale at the moment, and I don't know. It's going to be really good to see it open up Montana Bowl and that area, and how, you know, they'll have to obviously do some landscaping on that. But I've not heard anything on the time scale of that yet. You know, I'm sure there's lots of red tape and approvals and things I have to get. But yeah, no, all I know is that that's the one that's next, Freedom Rider. I'm afraid I don't know anything else to that, and no one does. I honestly think that's not going to start, that side of things is not going to start rolling until the accommodation side of things taken care of. So until the hotel goes in, until the staff accommodation goes in, like, it's going to be at least 1 or 2 winters, I think, before that lift development starts rolling. But I don't know, that's just my assumption on it from what I've seen out there. Promotional gifts. Okay, so I think for me to be able to gift you guys, it says here that you've got to be eligible to accept gifts. So it says to do that, you guys have got to select to say allow gifts, which I think is that link. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out as we go live, which really I should have done beforehand. So apologies, guys. Oh, you've got to actually put the... right. Hang on. So I think what you've got to do is that, but it's actually got to be Bramski in the middle. I don't know. Let me look into that, guys, and I'll come back to you on that on another live stream. But yeah, I wanted to kind of give a little bit of a thanks back to you guys for supporting up in the run until Christmas. Nick, what are your plans for Christmas? Are you going to be skiing? Okay, maybe try that link, guys. See if that allows you to accept gifts, and then again, Freedom Rider. With all the variable weather, rain, warm weather, and snow, etc., what are the any conditions in the backcountry? Are people out or being super conscious? So in the first couple of weeks, like early season, there was a lot of people actually touring up at Rogers Pass. Like a lot of people were going up there because there was more snow initially up there than there was in the town. But I've not heard people of late going up there, and I think because of that warmer weather, that's probably affecting the snowpack quite a lot. I know for a fact that a lot of the heli ski companies in town have been postponing a lot of trips because of either the poor visibility from the clouds with all the temperatures and the inversions, or just the lack of snow. The thing was really interesting, actually. My roommate, who is a training guide at Mustang Powder, one of the cat skiing lodges, and we were chatting the other week about the effects of the fires on the glacier this year. And apparently the fires that they affected the glaciers in a really bizarre but severe way this year. And like the way glaciers receded this year was with a sharp drop off. So rather than glaciers kind of going like that, it was more like, sort of like that, meaning that for heli ski companies with terrain on glaciers, the runouts on a lot of these have changed drastically. I mean, I think that's left quite a few people scratching their heads. But yeah, I know there's not a lot of people heli skiing right now. I think my buddy's just been 10 days up at the cat skiing lodge, so he's just got back. I need to get a rundown from him and what it's like up at Mustang Powder. They're based up near Malacqua, so it's about half an hour drive away from here. I've not heard of any significant avalanches or anything like that of late, so touch wood. But you never know with this warm weather, and then you got to see what comes afterwards, right? On the one hand, warm, wet weather probably pushes that snowpack down and forces it all together, right? But then what comes after that, we need to see. Nick's planning to ski on Christmas Day, having a few days off, starting today as I twisted my knee yesterday. Mate, hope it's nothing too severe. Rest easy. I don't know what the town will be like, but might wander out for a few drinks, but no plans. Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier. I'm like, I would assume hopefully the places are open on Christmas Day on the 26th. Go out and get some drinks and soak up the atmosphere. I keep getting updates from CMH with 30% discounts for early season trips, so it must be tough. Yeah. But do you know what? Someone in my office saw that today, and we were talking about it, and it's trying to get the bookings, because otherwise there's a lot of cancellations going on right now. And I know, especially with heli skiing, that's a lot of money at play, especially up at the heli ski lodges. So, I mean, you hope maybe that later on in the year the conditions improve, and then I'd love to see Revi stay open longer as a mountain resort, but it always comes down to staffing. And a lot of people notice that by sort of end of March, April, the town's pretty quiet. Like, you don't get as many visitors from everywhere else, and also a lot of people kind of use it as their time to move on to the next place that they maybe want to go work or stay for the summer. But yeah, I'd love it if we could stay later, but we'll see. It's a good base layer having this weather. Yeah, that's true, Nick. Like that's one of the few positives I'm taking out of this pouring rain, is that hopefully, like, we then have like a 1 meter solid base now, and then on top, hopefully, things turn around. But I mean, last year was one of the lowest snow years we'd had for a while. I'm hoping it's not a repeat, but we need more snow. 100%, mate. 100%. I read that the wildfire suit that ended up settling on the glaciers, darkening them, made the solar impact this summer more intense, thus increasing them out. Yeah, this is exactly what I was just talking about. So this is the conversation that I had with the trainee guide, and he was saying that like the soot got into the glacier, and so the sort of the impact, like you say, was just rather than that glacier gradually receding, it was more sharp, and that was yeah. I mean, I did a little hike earlier in the fall to Great Glacier, just around the foot of Rogers Pass, and when you see what the glacier is then compared to what it was from like 20-30 years ago, it's astounding. My pivot cast touring bindings arrived today. Never done it before, but I know I'm in the right place. And I need to do my AST course, the avalanche safety training. Yeah, Nick, it's on my list to do as well, right? So I've been building a touring setup for this year as well. I'm waiting for my atomic shift bindings to arrive. Got the skis, got the boots molded and soles done. But yeah, once I get the touring bindings done, then I can get some skins and then do the AST course, which I'm hoping there'll be space. But yeah, and then get up there, because it looks lovely, especially Balu Pass. That looks like a nice one to start off with. The Five Fingers actually on the other side of the river also look good. How long have you lived out here for, and whereabouts in the UK are you from? I'm from the Cheltenham area. So I've lived out here for a little over 2 years now. This will be my third winter in Revelstoke, but sixth winter overall. I did 2 in Europe, in France and Austria, and then Japan before coming out here, and have always set out to try and build a life in the mountains. And Canada's given me the best opportunity to do that. Still working on that. It's an ever-going process. And there's lots of stuff I've put about permanent residencies and whatnot, Nick. So if you're interested in all of that, have a look through the playlists. But where am I in the UK from? I'm from Staffordshire. I live in a little place in between Stafford and Stoke on Trent, but I decided to swap that Stoke for a better Stoke, for Revelstoke. Yeah, the river's a lot more clearer here, and there's big mountains to ski, so I'm happy. How about yourself, Nick? So yeah, you said you'd come over from just for this year. Have you thought much about staying more than 1 year or one winter? You should see it in the summer. Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, it gets hot, but yeah, it's a totally different animal. The weather is crazy. I live in Ontario and played golf last Friday. It was 14 Celsius. What? You played golf? Oh, dear. Yeah, like I said earlier, some guys I know are going mountain biking in Kamloops this weekend, which is just bizarre. Yeah, I've been watching for a couple of months now, leading up to my arrival. Oh, awesome, Nick. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Hope it's been of some use to you. I like that. Yeah, Stoke-on-Trent for Revelstoke. Rather than having the River Trent, I decided to have the Columbia River. Let's call it Stoke-on-Columbia, although it's a bit of a mouthful, that is. Jesse, thanks for the update, brother. I'll be out there tomorrow until Thursday. Awesome, Jesse. Yeah, safe trip up here. Hoping we get some more snow, but it looks like that freezing level is coming down, which is a good thing. So yeah, might need to have some sharpened edges over the next few days, but make the most of it. The nightlife will be good in town. You know, I wonder if there's a Grizzly game on at Christmas. That's always a good one. Yeah, we will see. I think I'll definitely do another winter, but I have a business in England, so we'll probably go back in the summer and have boots on the ground, if you get me. Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah. Summer's very different for, you know, it's taken me a while to try and adapt to like the full year life and summer stuff. Like I've really chucked into trying to build that side of the life, but it's hard, you know, but yeah, definitely come back out. It's once you do one winter, Nick, it's very hard to go back. I'm on my 6th and counting. Yeah, I would like that to be there for a little whole summer. I like golf and will like to play here. Well, I mean, there's one golf course already, and then the new Cabo golf course is going to be, I don't know when that's going to be completed, but I mean, I'm not much of a golfer. I'm more of a cricket man myself. So I'm sort of heavily involved in trying to set up a club in town. But yeah, hiking and cricket is my type of thing. Terrible at golf, but recently started enjoying it. I mean, like, I can understand why people do it. Like, I've gone for 1 or 2 like fun days and like, you know, met up with people, just have beers on the course, that type of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always trying to play a cricket shot when I'm playing golf. All right, guys, I got to wrap it up. I'm got to head off for a couple of beers with some people, but appreciate everyone who just chimed in tonight. Yeah, full year live would be a big adjustment for me here. It takes a while. Do you know? The new Cabo Golf Course will be spectacular, but will not be priced for locals to pay. Yeah, that sounds about right from everything that I've seen. I think we're going to see a few private jets flying into Revelstoke in the future, I think. Thanks for the update. Happy holidays. Thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, wishing you all a Merry Christmas. I may try and do another live stream over the next couple of days, but I will definitely be out filming for you guys. So as always, please stay tuned. Nick, might see you around town. Freedom Rider, I'll keep an eye out for you when you come in. And yeah, Kevin, Jesse, thanks everyone for watching. Sonorous Mute as well. Thanks very much. Merry Christmas to you all. Hope you've had a really good couple of days. Have a good really couple of days with your families and drink lots, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks again for taking the time. Stay dry, brother. I'll try to, mate. I'll stay dry with clothing, but not with the alcohol. I can't promise that. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Take care. Yeah, see you on the mountain, Nick.